What was the creepiest or most paranormal thing that's ever happened to you? I got home from class around 2 in the afternoon. It had been one of those long Thursdays where everything felt offbeat. Gray sky, cold breeze, the kind of day where the world feels half asleep. I tossed my backpack by the door and dropped onto the couch with a bag of chips, planning to watch something dumb before I started any homework. I don't remember picking anything on the TV. I just remember leaning back and then everything fading. I must have fallen asleep within minutes. But it wasn't a peaceful nap. Almost immediately, I slipped into this dream, or maybe it was a nightmare. Maybe more than that. I was in the same living room, on the same couch, but everything looked off. It was darker than it should have been. The air was thick, and standing over me was this thing. It looked human, maybe once, but its face was half covered in blood, not dripping or oozing, just matted, like it had been there a while. Its eyes were too wide, bulging out like they weren't meant to stay in its head, and it was screaming. Not yelling, not roaring, screaming right into my ear. A sound that didn't just ring, it shook my skull from the inside out, like someone was pressing 2 amps against my temples and hitting max volume. I couldn't move. I couldn't blink. I could only lie there paralyzed while this thing leaned in and screamed. Then I jolted awake. No transition. No fading. Just boom. Eyes open. Chips spilled on my shirt. The TV frozen on the home screen. It was light out. Quiet. No blood. No demon. Just the quiet hum of the fridge and the tap of my own heart pounding in my chest. I sat there for a minute, then got up, shook it off, chalked it up to stress. Too much caffeine. Whatever. I didn't think about it again for the rest of the day. Just went on like normal. That night, around 9 or 10, my roommate Tyler came back from the lab. He nodded at me, dropped his keys, said something about ramen, then disappeared into his bedroom. I stayed in the living room, scrolling through my laptop, zoning out. A few minutes later, I heard him yell. Not a frustrated grunt, not a yelp from stubbing a toe, a full-throated, panicked scream like someone grabbed him from behind. I launched off the couch and ran down the hallway. He was standing outside his bedroom door, back pressed against the wall, eyes wide. I asked him what happened, already expecting something dumb like a spider or his laptop charger catching fire. Instead, he just looked at me and said, completely serious, I swear to God, someone with a bloody face just walked from your bedroom into the bathroom. I stopped, completely frozen. He had no way of knowing. I hadn't told him anything about what I dreamt earlier. Not a single word. I didn't even text anyone about it. There was no logical way he could have described the exact same thing unless he'd seen it too. Or unless it was real. I didn't say anything. I just slowly walked to the bathroom and turned on the light. Empty. No blood, no footprints, no open windows, just cold tile and a mirror that suddenly felt like it was staring back harder than it should have. We didn't talk much that night. Tyler kept asking, "Are you sure no one's here?" And I kept lying. Yeah, I'm sure. But my voice didn't match my face. And I think he knew I was rattled. I slept in the living room that night with every light on. I didn't even try to sleep, really. Just laid there under a blanket, waiting for that scream to come back, waiting to hear footsteps from the hallway or see a shadow slip past the kitchen door. But nothing happened. Nothing happened the next night either, or the night after that. Weeks went by, and whatever it was, whatever that moment was, didn't come back. Tyler stopped bringing it up after a while, and I never offered anything. But I remember the look on his face when he said, bloody face. I remember that sound in the dream like it was burned into my ears. And I remember how my bedroom suddenly felt colder, even in the daytime for the rest of that semester. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a shared hallucination, a glitch, some weird byproduct of our stressed out brains syncing up. I just know that for one moment, something stepped out of whatever world it came from, stood between us and screamed,